Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Momentum Mondays. My name is Chris Stellar-Cipretti, and today I'm going to be walking you through landing page optimization and how you can get your landing pages to convert better. So if you guys did read the article, I'm just going to use this video as a complement to that. We're just going to go through some real live examples of landing pages from companies you may have heard of or you may even use yourself. And then we'll get into why they're good, why they're bad, etc. So first of all, we're going to start off with Lyft, as you see here. Everybody knows Lyft as the ride-sharing service, similar to Uber, Uber's biggest competitor. When you think of Lyft, you think of purple. And you see here they do a great job of highlighting the purple that Lyft is really known for. Not only do they showcase this image over here that really grabs your attention, but they also use it right here as a button color. For some of you this might look pink purple, but it really does match the color scheme. And they also use the purple up here in the headline. And the headline is "Turn Miles into Money." So if they're driving paid traffic to this page, which I believe that they are, if I was interested in becoming a driver and I see "Turn Miles into Money," with this graphic over here, I would be really enticed to sign up. I would be interested in finding out more information and finding out just exactly how much money I can make. So you see the form over here in the article. I mentioned how important a form is. You want to have the appropriate number of form fields so that the user doesn't get overwhelmed by the information. The one thing they could do better here is combine the first name and the last name fields together to make one field. It could just say full name. So if you still wanted to capture the first and last name, just saying full name will prompt someone to put in their full name. That way it just keeps the form a little bit more responsive and a little bit more clean. Especially, we're going to look at mobile here. So on mobile, not the entire landing page does not show up. Or the entire form, I should say. It does show up, but you can't see the button. And it's really important to see the button because someone might not want to scroll to see how long the form actually is. And if they believe the form to be really long, it sounds stupid, but some people are, they have the attention span of a child and they're not going to scroll down the page. So if you can showcase this button as soon as somebody lands on the page, that's really going to help your conversion rate. And like I suggested, if you combine the first and last name fields into one, that will ensure that the button shows up. And if that's not enough, if you test on maybe an iPhone 5 or an older model phone, you could always reduce the size of this header image on mobile or even remove it completely, because on mobile, it's not exactly necessary. What is necessary, if somebody clicks on your ad, they already have intent to take action. So you don't want to, have anything extra that isn't completely necessary, especially on mobile. And as I mentioned in the article, over 60% of users are searching the web on mobile. So it's extremely important to optimize your landing pages for mobile. So real quickly, we'll go back into Lyft. If you keep scrolling down, it gives some, high-level branding points of, why you should become a Lyft driver or why you should even ride with Lyft in the first place. They do a good job of explaining, their mission and why they do what they do. They use some humor in here. You can even watch a video. It tells you how to donate to different causes. So, this is, all in all, this is a really good landing page. What I would like to see on here is some more testimonials. Both from drivers and riders. If I was a driver coming here, again, I would like to see what other drivers think of Lyft. And, obviously you're always going to get, the most positive reviews, but sometimes it's helpful to see what exactly people are saying and if you can get any insight of what it's actually like being a Lyft driver. So we're going to move on to the next one, Wistia. Wistia, helps get your videos out there. It helps video rate optimization. Some of you may use it. What I really like about Wistia's landing page is it's very clean, very simple, very modern, and it gets straight to the point. The headline says, "Put your business videos to work." If I did not know what Wistia was, I would, almost already assume what it was just by reading that headline. And that's one of the most important things with headlines. You want to convey something that grabs your attention, but also speaks to what you're trying to display on the page. Wistia's colors, I'm imagining, are light blue and purple, and they do a great job of highlighting that with the light blue background on the purple button here. Scrolling down, you see an FAQ section, which is really important. I did not touch on that so much in the article, but having an FAQ bonus tip is extremely important, especially for companies who are just starting out, or maybe they're not as well known, where people have specific questions as to pricing, how many users they can have, the different types of plans they can buy, etc. So they do a great job of that. Again, they don't have testimonials, which, I would highly recommend that they have. You can either put them up here or down below. And since they are a video service, since they deal with videos, having video testimonials would only enhance their reputation so much more. If I saw a video testimonial on here, I would be extremely inclined to sign up. With that one, I'll have a little bit of hesitation, but I may or may not, depending on how I'm feeling for the day. And as far as the form is concerned, it's a good length. This is another good tip if you have to add multiple form fields, especially for desktop. You can add 2 columns to your form. So if this form is full length, it would say first name, last name, email, password, and how did you hear about Wistia. It would all be in a straight line down, and that would probably cause you just have to scroll down a little bit on desktop, which is especially not good. So they did a good job of breaking that down into 2 columns, and I did check it out on mobile, and it does look good. So we're going to move on to the next one, Slack. We use Slack a ton here at Momentum. It's our favorite tool for communication. What I really like about Slack's landing page here is the enticing header, where work happens. Now, it doesn't necessarily speak to what Slack does specifically, but it's big and the font is really modern, and it just captures your attention and makes you want to read more. So if you're not going to include specifics of what your product or service does, I would highly suggest using something like this, where it really just captures your attention, and it builds trust within you because of how it looks. And then if you keep reading in the subheading, it does go on to say exactly what Slack does, which is really cool. This is an example without a form. You don't always need a form depending on what you do. So Slack, they don't want people to sign up with their information. They would rather you sign up and actually start using the service of Slack. So if you hit this button, it'll take you through the setup process, to get a free Slack account and to get you started. So I really like how they make use of this button right here. If you scroll down, this just adds trust what companies they work with. If I see, Airbnb uses Slack for their internal team communication, there's no reason why we shouldn't be using it. But again, for the third time, I'm going to say user testimonials are huge because they really reinforce what the page is trying to sell you, and it shows real human beings who are using the service to their advantage, and maybe different unique ways in which they're using it that could specifically relate to your business or your service. So all in all, Slack's landing page is really good and clean, very, very modern, which I like, but there's still some improvements that they can make to it to make it a little bit better. The fourth one right here is Zendesk. This is another good landing page. This might be teetering on the stock imagery that I was talking about, but this could very well be their own unique image, and I think it does the job. I really like their headline here. It says schedule your personal demo. So personal demo, that means it's going to be a one-on-one demo. I would assume it's not going to be like a webinar with 50, 100, 500 people in it. It's just going to be a one-on-one, you and somebody from Zendesk going over the service and what it can do for you. And I really like how concise this form is. Name, work email, phone, schedule demo, straight to the point. If I was in a rush, if I was in the back of an Uber or a Lyft, going to my hotel or going somewhere on a business trip, I could fill this out quickly, and I wouldn't, there would be no thought about it. I could just rapidly fill it out, and then somebody from Zendesk would get back to me. So it goes on to give you some more options to click out: guides, Zendesk support, chat, and answer bot. I would like to see a little bit more about what Zendesk does, because I personally don't use Zendesk, and just looking at this landing page, I'm not too sure how they can actually help me or what they actually do specifically. So I would add some icons down here with the specific benefits to using Zendesk. Again, testimonials will reinforce people already using Zendesk, and just more copy around the service itself and what Zendesk can do for me. Because if I'm going to sign up, I'm going to want to know what it can do to me before I have a sales rep reach out to me and put me through a sales cycle that could last for weeks. So It'll also really help Zendesk narrow down their leads and get them warmer leads up the cycle for people who are more ready to use their service than just getting a ton of people who aren't too sure what it is and maybe they're on the fence and not as close to actually buying something from them as someone who's more informed and educated about what Zendesk actually does. So I saved the worst for last, unfortunately. This is just an example of a not so good landing page. What the Content Marketing Institute wants to do is have you sign up for one of their webinars. And I know with webinars, a lot of these are already like pre-templated, pre-existing. So there's not much editing you can do. But if you are able to set up some webinar collection on your own website, you'll have more ability to edit it. But what they could have done here is made the titles more enticing. Summary, overview. They say what it is, but it's more like they're writing an essay instead of trying to capture your attention and actually have you sign up for the webinar. This form over here, this form is just too long. Like, I'm not going to want to sit here and fill out all this information. First name, last name, email, company, job title, state, province, country, work phone. I don't think all that information is necessary on a webinar. Maybe if they want to collect this information, they prompt you to do so on the webinar itself at the beginning, middle, and end. But it's not necessary to collect here unless it's a special circumstances that I don't know. But I would definitely make this form a lot shorter and more concise. They do a good job of highlighting the speakers and who they are and where they can follow them on social media. But they don't actually, again, for the fifth time, I'm going to say they don't make use of testimonials or, people who use CMI to their advantage. So, I can see the speakers here, but I don't necessarily know who they are. So why would I be inclined to attend this webinar? If I don't want to read this paragraph, I should be able to see some points, some branded points, either over here, up here, of the exact points that the webinar is going to cover and how it's going to help my business. Because it's great to give an overview about, what's going to go on in the webinar, but I want to know how this webinar will help me grow my business and, grow my company. So that's something that they could have done a lot better. So just in conclusion, when you're building landing pages, you want to keep a ton of information in mind, specifically clean content. Make sure that your call to actions are visible and also very enticing to click to take action. You want to make sure you have a compelling headline. You want to make sure that you have social proof from testimonials, whether they be written testimonials or video testimonials. And you just want to make sure that your overall offer is something that people will want to take advantage of and will want to share and come back for more. So I hope you guys learned something. And if you did, please comment on my blog and ask any questions that you would like. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks.